Oh, going live.
Supposedly. Are we really here?
I think so.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm here until my existence is validated by others. But before we get into having my existence validated, let's pretend we're grown-ups here. I'm Kayla Lords.
And I'm John Brownstone.
This is Loving BDSM, where we help kinksters like you have happy, healthy power exchange relationships. This is our final live stream that stays public of 2020.
Yep.
So here we are, and we already have folks here. Hi, Mel. Hi, Taishu. I'm scrolling. And then the chat jumped. Thanks, live stream chat, for jumping. Hi, Missy. Hi, Sassy Vanessa. Hi, Elle. Hi, Liz. Hi, Spade's wife. Hi, Tanya. Hi, Mr. Spock. Hello.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Kenneth.
Good to see y'all here.
Okay. I'm watching my phone to see if somebody gets back to me on a broken link, on a thing not working. It's fine. Hello. We're here a few minutes early. If the intro we recorded for the podcast episode is any indication,
it's going to be a roller coaster ride, folks, so hang on.
I can't decide.
Buckle in.
If I'm just already in vacation mode or if I've got so much left to do that I'm just delirious. Like, I don't know which is it. I don't know. Hi, Willow. So.
Yeah, it's good to be back in the driver's seat, Taishu.
Yeah, I don't like it when you're not here. Well, let's not do that again. And for folks who can only ever come to like the Wednesday live streams, yes, he was here last Wednesday. He was not here last Friday night.
No.
Because of a sinus infection.
Yeah.
And I managed to make it an hour. That was it. I couldn't do anymore. Hi, Silent Winged.
I'm just glad it was only a sinus infection.
I'm glad it was too. And I'm glad it wasn't as bad as your other sinus infections have been.
True.
Mm-hmm. Hi, Ignixia. So, what have we got for that butt rub stuff?
I don't know, Raggy.
No. I'm going to do the disclaimer of if you hear any weird noises in the background, that's our dog Lola once we bring in the podcast out.
Yeah.
She's busy snuffling and gnawing on her own limbs.
Yeah.
I'm thinking... She's got skin allergies. We're working on them.
Mm-hmm.
I think we might need to transition her to that chicken-free food sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we've been doing some research in that aspect because a bath every 3 days. Oh.
I'm exhausted after that.
Yeah.
Oh, let me interrupt us. If you come later and you do not like this portion that we call the butt rub portion, fast forward by 6 minutes. I will get timestamps in, but it takes me a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
So,
hey, Eva.
While she's okay once we get her in the bath, it's getting her in there.
And it gets harder every single time.
Because she knows now.
Yes, she's a smart girl.
And, yeah, I mean, she handles it once she's in the tub.
She looks pitiful like we're killing her. But,
right, like we're doing mean, nasty things to her.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we did some research and found out some things. Our neighbor who works with animals mentioned about how many animals have their allergies are from the food, from the chicken. Mm-hmm. And that kind of pinged with us a little bit. We did some research and found out, oh yeah, people do seem to have a problem with some of their pets. Mm-hmm. So we have started looking into what they call limited ingredient.
And then having to make sure there's no chicken in it.
Right.
Yeah. So it's a whole journey.
Mm-hmm.
Folks have come in. Hi, Sean. Hi, Sharon. Since our shirts were mentioned, these are our Christmas shirts.
Yes.
Of course, I have the one that says y'all, because why wouldn't I? We have no links. We bought these at Old Navy either last year or year before.
Year before.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it kind of sort of, if I scrunch really hard, fits. I have to breathe real deep.
Yeah.
it's been a pandemic. Whatever.
Right.
So we have no links. And I have not gone browsing in an Old Navy in so long. And I love to browse in Old Navy.
I know.
And I actually like their Christmas shirts that they usually come out
They
with.
usually have some cool shirts, but yeah, these are Old Navy.
I once had, for a very long time, until it just looked pitiful and stopped fitting, a long sleeve hot pink shirt that said, I think I'm on the naughty list, that went right across my boobs, which I loved and would have been perfect for this, except I had to get rid of it. And also, I was a little uncomfortable wearing it out in public because many a dirty old man would look at my tits, read what was printed essentially on my tits, and go, I bet you are. And it was like, no, you did not consent to that. You did not ask if that was okay. I like dirty old men that I consent to be, I married one, but not at the Starbucks. I mean, what the fuck, people?
Yeah.
Anyway. Well, it is form-fitting. It makes my boobs look good. It makes my arms look like I'm not getting enough blood circulation. So, hi, Aria. Hi, Crow.
And through the what?
I don't know. Didn't know what was happening there.
Okay, I was going to say, through the live stream, you may notice me peeking at my phone. Earlier, I got a missed call from a family member.
Who's in her late 70s, early 80s?
Yes.
Yeah.
And usually when she calls, she'll leave a voice message. She did not leave a voice message. I tried to call her back.
Let's hope she just butt dialed you.
And that's possible, too.
Let's hope she just butt dialed you.
So, yeah, I'm kind of.
It's fine if you have to run. I can. The questions we got. Oh, I got stuff to say.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry, I'll be fine.
So,
folks are coming in.
Yeah, they are.
Hi, Braddy Ann.
Hello.
Braddy Ann, did you get my message? Because if you responded, I just haven't seen it yet. Just saying, I sent you a message. I'm trying not to pick my nose. I'm trying to scratch my nose without messing up the makeup. Oh, I have a challenge because I'm curious about this. For anybody who throws this up on like 50 plus inch screens to watch, first of all, why? I am wearing a pimple patch because I woke up with a monster one. Like, what the fuck? Of course, you're going on camera. Let us inflame your face.
Yeah.
I put it on. It says you can wear it under makeup. And I am curious, can it be seen? Hey, if you're looking at me on a small screen and can see it, that's cool. I don't care if it can be seen. I would rather have the pimple patch be seen than the zit. I'm just curious. Okay, thank you, Braddy Ann. So.
Okay. Yay, Crow.
Oh,
you
yay.
got it.
And
Good,
I
good.
was very curious about customs.
Yeah.
So, X will be missed, Selling, if he cannot make it. I know you so well, Silent Wing. Okay, so we've got a minute or so to go, so let's do our YouTube things. As we already mentioned, we have no links for these shirts, but we love them. Old Navy, yay! This is our last big episode live stream before we go on a 2-week break for Christmas and New Year's. There will be a video coming out next week because we recorded it today, and that will be talking about Kinky Book Club. So we do have a blog post on lovingbdsm.net, but the video actually goes through each book in a little bit more detail. So that we love a thumbs up if you are mildly entertained by whatever is happening here. We hope that you will subscribe. Last I checked, we were one away from 4,200.
Wow.
I love it when we're right on a cusp.
A cusp, yeah.
A cusp.
Yeah. And then, of course, there's that notification bell. Ring that bell and get updates when we have new content.
Look, just live your life, okay? If you don't use the notification bell, nobody is notification bell shaming you here, okay? But I do find it's best if you just do what Daddy says.
Thank you, baby girl.
I don't hit the notification bell, but y'all can. It's fine. Do as I say, not as I do. We want to take a moment to thank everybody who is a member of our Patreon community.
Yes.
We invite others to join. We understand it's the holidays. Money might be a little tight. It's okay. It's fine for real, y'all. But we could not do a lot of what we do without that community. The captions that we're able to do on shorter videos, that's Patreon. The fact that we were in a position to upgrade our equipment this year, that is Patreon. So we appreciate our Patreon members for all that you have done for us. We hope others will join us in the coming year. I'll give you a spoiler. We are doing a membership drive in January. So if you're like on the fence, wait a few more weeks. It'll be fine. Yeah. So this week's topic is us being lazy. So we asked other people to tell us what to talk about.
Right.
We asked for questions on Instagram. We're going to start with those. A lot have rolled in. I don't know how long they'll take us. But when we're done with them, if we're like, we could still keep going, we will look to the live stream for questions. I would ask that you hold any questions until that point, because as fast as the live stream chat moves some days, I will probably not see it if you ask way early. Okay, so just when we're like, hey, we'll take questions from the live stream now, pop it in, okay? Because then it's a better chance of actually seeing it. So,
Okay.
also, this will be, I think we said this, I'm going to say it again, this will be a wild and a crazy episode, because we are wired for sound today.
Yeah.
Whoo!
Yeah.
So,
All right.
here we go.
I hit that button.
Sure.
Oop.
Gotta find the right button to hit.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so before we get into the questions that we have received, a couple of things. This episode is not sponsored by anybody, but we would like to remind you that the kinkery exists as a thing.
Mm-hmm.
It exists. It's real.
It's real.
It's real. It's here. Thekinkery.com is the website to go to. Not going to lie, as of the date of recording and then the date the podcast episode goes out, with the way shipping's going, Christmas present might not arrive in time. But we've gotten around that because we now offer gift certificates, gift cards, whatever you want to call them. Yes. And when I tested it, it lets you schedule what day that thing got emailed out.
Ah, very
I was like,
nice.
damn,
Very nice.
we're upscale here. Okay. Because I go to online stores all the time and cannot do that. So, thekinkery.com. There will be lots more new stuff coming in 2021, as I was just informed before we started recording that somebody wants a business meeting with me. I'm good with that.
Absolutely.
But if you're like, I need a last minute gift, thekinkery.com. And we've got gift certificates, so you can do that. The second thing is that the Elegantly Owned giveaway, thank you, Taishu, who's in the live stream chat, did end. I did reach out to everybody who won through the random drawing. 4 of those 6 people have gotten back to me. If you know you entered and you don't see an email, check your spam. Because I got 2 prizes still waiting to be mailed out. So, that is a thing. And I just found out today, and there's a problem with the my personal link, but that doesn't matter for you guys. Hot Octopus is having a sale from the 16th through the 25th. You can save up to 20% off. My understanding is everything in the store or on the site. And it's a tiered system like they did at Black Friday. So you can just save 10% if you're willing to sign up for their email newsletter. You can save 15% if you're willing to sign up for their newsletter and follow them on social. You can save 20%. But anybody who's like, yeah, I want to buy something from Hot Octopus. No, I don't want to pay full price. There's a sale. My affiliate links are not working right now. I have already reported that to my good friend who oversees affiliate things over at Hot Octopus, and they're working on it. But you don't have to worry about that. You can just go to hotoctopus.com, shop to your heart's content. So there we go. Okay, I'm going into the questions we received on Instagram. Based on how long it takes us to answer those, I think some of them can be kind of rapid fire. We will then potentially ask those in the live stream chat on YouTube to ask their questions. Please hold those questions until we get to that point, because I'll never see them otherwise. So here we go, starting with the questions. Do we have Christmas plans?
Yes and no.
I plan to eat foods that I would never normally eat, because what even is life? Fuck this. It's the year of a pandemic. I'm just gonna eat what I want. YOLO. I plan to do baking for things I should not eat. YOLO. I plan to spend a lot of time in pajamas.
Yay for pajamas.
And do not a whole hell of a lot. We're going to be home. We're going to stay home. We're not going to see family, which kind of sucks.
That kind of stinks.
But I'm not going to lie. I'm such an introvert. The idea of not having to put clothes on or go sit in somebody else's house
Yeah.
It does. I mean, I miss them. I do miss my family, but also I'm not mad about it.
I know. I mean, and that's why I say yes and no, because we haven't made plans, obviously, to,
No.
do things with other folks or other family at this point. But, we have been making some plans for ourselves as a family. We've been, obviously the food. You've got something for you and the youngest to eat.
Oh yeah. All of our
And
food, it's like split. Like
it's going to be a split meal.
We're having 2 meats on Christmas Day because
Excuse me.
JB requested ham, and the 15-year-old was like, "I second that," and
Right.
both me and the 11-year-old went, "We don't like ham, so we're having chicken."
Yeah. So yeah,
I'm roasting a chicken
there,
or baking
half
a
the
chicken.
family's having chicken, and the other half I'm going to be smoking a ham.
No,
Oh, good stuff. Good
you
stuff.
have ham sandwiches after Christmas.
Hey.
Have a good time. I'll have chicken. I'll do something with chicken. It'll be fine. And yeah, it's basically a repeat of what we did at Thanksgiving for food because that was what we liked. So rolls and peas and mashed potatoes and mac and cheese and apple pie. I'm going to make, I know it's not going to be keto. It's going to be low carb, but I'm going to try and make a low carb peach cobbler. Bonus points if I can make it in the crock pot.
Yeah, Ari, no turkey.
We already did that at Thanksgiving.
We do that at Thanksgiving, and then come Christmas holiday, like to have something, change it up a little bit.
So those
and we've also been talking about making a list of family Christmas shows.
Actually, I
to
think
kind of binge.
what we ended up deciding on, because when we were talking about the Christmas movies that we always watch every year, both kids were like, "Oh God, please don't make me watch those again."
Yeah.
And other than a couple of them, I kind of don't blame them. It's fine. But so an idea was proposed,
was put on the table,
and we were here for it.
yeah.
All of the Doctor Who Christmas specials. And since the last episode we left off on our Doctor Who watching together as a family adventure we're on is a Christmas special, I was like,
We'll pick right up. We'll pick up with that and just go with it.
I'm
and,
here for it.
Yeah, sit and watch.
Very low key Christmas.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
low key, and I like that. I mean, we have traveled for Christmas before. For up until a couple years ago, we were constantly going to my mom's for a week to 2 weeks. We're not doing that for different reasons.
Yeah.
Okay. Somebody asked, I'm curious about consensual non-consent, even if you don't like it that much. So let me say this. No, I'm not a huge fan. It's not that I dislike consensual non-consent. I'm not into it.
Right.
That being said, there are certain topics you probably will not hear us talk about much. Not because we dislike the topic, but because we do not have enough knowledge on the topic to credibly talk about it, to helpfully talk, to safely talk about it. But I will share what I think of consensual non-consent.
I mean, most, if not all, of the things we talk about are things that we personally engage in and are active
or
with.
we have learned enough about that we feel like we can offer something helpful.
Right.
The last time we did topics that I was like, I want to talk about this and I don't know enough about, I went to the library and checked out 4 books, y'all. And I just can't, I'm sure there's a book on consensual non-consent, but it's not in my library. But I will absolutely share what I think about consensual non-consent. You gotta be super duper fucking careful in consensual non-consent.
Tread lightly with that one.
I mean, you want to talk about just like every other kind of kink play, it exists on a spectrum from a little bit to a lot. One person's, whoa, this is too much, will be another person's, hey, can we take it 10 steps further? The big thing that comes to mind when I think of consensual non-consent is the communication and the trust factor. I also think based on observations of what other people have talked about and shared and their experiences, I do think there is a problem among the less educated and or obviously the predators of, well, we negotiated a consensual non-consent. That means you can never withdraw that consent. And I'm here to tell you, fuck that shit. Okay? Now, I have seen, again, don't have a lot of experience with it. It's not my thing. I'm not into it. I trust you completely. And we were talking about this last night. Right. I was like, year into our relationship, I would never have done anything consensual non-consent, whether it was kink hardcore play or it was the power exchange part of consensual non-consent. Year into our relationship, as much as I trusted you, we couldn't even have this conversation. We've now been together for, oh my gosh, we're almost at our 8 years ago this day we met. December 23rd.
Yeah.
23rd, December 23rd. Anyway, we've known each other nearly 8 years, and it is now that I'm like, I'm just not that into it, but I would at least consider it. I would at least have that conversation. For me, that's the level of trust, because whether you do consensual non-consent as part of a relationship dynamic where the consensual non-consent is that the top or dom makes every decision regardless of what the submissive wants, or you do it in a kink BDSM play kind of thing, there has to be a mechanism somewhere for consent to be withdrawn to this activity. And I have just observed enough people having these conversations like that's not even a thing, and you're going to see it out and play. And that's so the trust factor in consensual non-consent is a huge one. Also, I will say, like every other kink out there, if you go to your partner or your partner comes to you and they're like, let's try some consensual non-consent, what do you think about that? You can't give an answer till you know what they mean by that, because it does mean different things to different people.
Right. I mean, like anything else, and it was mentioned in the chat, it's a spectrum. It can go from something very innocuous up to, the extreme edge play.
Yep.
So, there is a big spectrum to it.
And that's why you have to ask the question, because even Nixie in the live stream chat was like, it's not all kidnapping scenes, y'all. And that's true. That's what a lot of us think of. But I am way too opinionated at this point to even do it in terms of a relationship style.
And see, last night when we were talking about it, I had a thought, and somebody just brought it up in the chat. For a lot of people, it's fantasy, and that's all it ever is.
Oh God, yeah, and
it never goes any further.
There was a time I have not been in touch and in tune with my own sexual fantasies in a very long time. Bye, libido, we missed you, pre-pandemic. But I could, if I look back at some of my deepest fantasies, they're very CNC. They're very, very much in that realm. I would never want that to play out, and I think that's where some people get themselves a little messed up. It is okay to have a fantasy that you're never going to act on. Not every fantasy that you have, one, requires that you act upon it. Two, means that you have to. Like a lot of those, like I read some shit that makes me hot. Nobody's coming near me to do that. It gets to stay there on a page somewhere.
But you and I mean, that, and that goes into any realm of kink or DS. You and I watched a TED Talk about non-monogamy. And one of the very first points she made was that non-monogamy can be considered the fantasy of another person.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because it was about that monogamish was the topic.
The monogamish. And that's as far as it will ever go, but that still folds into that realm. So it's the same thing with CNC.
So that's probably what we have to say on that, because we don't have direct experience, knowledge, or interest in the topic to be able to give, like, do this, don't do that. Our advice and opinion is very general, because certain things work no matter what kind of kinky thing we're talking about, like communication and trust and being able to withdraw consent and all that good stuff. Okay, next question. And I'm deferring to you on this because you are our social media man over here. What is an alternative to FetLife for a DS couple to connect to other kinksters?
Okay. There are several.
You have accounts on all of them.
Yeah.
So look for John Brownstone if you sign up for any of these.
So the first two that come to mind right off the top of my head is The Cage.
TheCage.co. Yeah. We've partnered with them before. They're cool people.
Please Me.
I have an account there, but they mostly spam me with emails. I mean, I'm sure they're lovely there. It's just mostly how I've interacted with them. You do Kink Space.
Kink Space is back. I have an account there again. I have not done a whole lot there. It's kind of like best way to explain it. It's has a very Facebook feel to it. It's kind of a cool site. I was trying to think. There was another one. Now, there are some people who do like this site. I kind of reserve. I've set up an account there, but I've not done a whole lot. MeWe.
Me, is that how you say it? I think that's how you say it.
Yeah.
I've heard of it. I've just never
Yeah.
been there.
It's not so much a kink site, but they do. I have noticed that there are a lot of DSE groups
Gotcha.
that are on that site.
Gotcha.
So, there, and someone mentioned Discord. There are a lot of various Discord.
Quite frankly, not that the vanilla social media platforms are making it easier for kinksters and sex people to gather, but any social media site platform will have a kink element. Facebook's filled with groups. I don't touch Facebook with a 10-foot pole except for professionally. But if you are spending your whole life on Facebook, that might be something to consider. Twitter, again, it's hard to find it, but once you find it, then you can immerse yourself in it. Instagram, there are kinky people there. TikTok, there are kinky people there.
Yes.
There are some good educators out there on both those platforms. There's also a lot of bad information, and to me, it's harder to connect in those kinds of platforms. They're more, to me, the way I interpret them.
Okay.
For passively watching and less direct interaction.
And Ignixia mentioned one, and I'm familiar with it, but I've never used it. Collar Space.
Yeah. It used to be Collar Me, and I'd heard of Collar Me, and So there are a lot out there. If I was going to tell you to pick one that had a FetLife like, probably the Cage.
Yeah.
Just because it was built to be, I think, not to reject FetLife, because they actually are like, wait, FetLife has its place too.
Sure.
But to give an alternative and another step in that community aspect.
And, with the mention on Facebook, yes, there are a lot of communities on Facebook. In all honesty, at this point, if it wasn't for my business accounts that I have to have tied to my name, I would shut my Facebook account down in a heartbeat. I have gotten to the point I have no use for all the crap.
You spend more of your time muting people on Facebook. I just don't go. Okay, next question. What are some things you like and don't like about BDSM? I know of a thing I don't like. I know of a thing I like. I know the answer from my perspective. Do you want time to think?
Yeah, I need time to think. I mean, I know the things I like, but don't like.
I know. I had to think about it too. So the thing I like is the fact that it can be whatever the fuck you and a partner want it to be, or that you as an individual want it to be, because you just have to find a consenting partner who's willing to play along with what you want. And I like that. I like that I feel more myself in BDSM than I feel anywhere else. Sometimes I still feel a little like the awkward teenager that I was 25 years ago, but I also am more confident as a human now that I understand that I'm submissive and that I embrace it and it's accepted and there's a whole thing around it. So I like that about BDSM. What I don't like is not BDSM the thing. It's a human nature thing, and that is the fact that there continue to be people who think there's only, and this is in every community, in everything in life, but we're talking about BDSM, that there are people who think that there's only one right way to do it, and that would be their way, and they can't conceive of the idea that other people do it differently. I absolutely dislike the ease with which many predators move through the community. Some of them being people that end up being highly respected and sought after because they are sharing some level of knowledge, and then, by the way, they're a predator. And as with all communities everywhere, sometimes it's hard to look at this person you once admired and have to go, oh, you're also a shitty human being. Okay. I don't like that, but I don't like that about anything to do with people, which is why I like to be in my house. So it's not specific to BDSM. It is more prevalent with BDSM. And quite frankly, when a predator, an abuser gets like to run free reign through their part of the BDSM community, they can do a lot of serious damage, psychological, emotional, physical. And no, I don't like that part. But I also recognize that that kind of thing exists in every type of community and every type of person everywhere on the planet.
So for me, I find as far as my likes, I'm very similar to you in that when I was able to embrace my dominant side, I felt more myself than I ever have. And especially over the years, I've come to identify with that side more than any other part of myself.
Oh, God, yeah. I feel really weird when I'm navigating the vanilla world.
Yeah. I think the thing I don't like about the DS world, and this goes for any aspect, whether it's on FetLife, in local community, or any other DS place that I've come across, I found that I am shocked at the amount of people in the DS world who are judgmental towards other people and other kinks.
You would think that we would be the last place, but
yeah,
it's human.
And unfortunately,
human
yes,
nature. There's
it's
always going to
human
be
nature.
people in any community that do
I mean,
that,
there
sadly.
are some kinks to me that I have no wish to engage in.
Yeah.
But I know they are things that people like. I just kind of nod my head and
Or
and
your
go
eyes
by.
quickly glaze over it when you happen to see it, and you just sort of go, okay, and move on.
It's kind of the whole, your kink's not my kink, but your kink's okay kind of thing. And I guess it just shocks me because being a kinkster to begin with, you're already kind of like on the fringe.
Yeah,
so to
absolutely.
speak.
Absolutely.
So why would you shame somebody else for something they like? And that just really irks me.
And you can take that a step further. I am always, and I don't know why, I'm not always shocked. I am sometimes unpleasantly surprised by just the inability to be empathetic to other people that you sometimes find within the BDSM community, not just their kinks, but their skin color, their sexuality, their gender. Their, in the BDSM world, you can lose everything you have once you're found out to be kinky, depending on where you live and how people react. People have lost their kids, they lose their job, they lose their house, they lose shit. They are shamed, and they, not in the way that, say, a person of color might be, or a trans person might be, but they can be marginalized to a certain extent. And the fact that many of us feel we have to hide who we are to navigate the world a little safely, I am constantly shocked that within that same community, you still find transphobia and racism and sexism.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait,
Yeah.
what makes you somehow better and superior? But it goes back to the fact that the BDSM community is made up of people, and we are a microcosm of a wider society, and those people exist in other parts of society. So of course those people exist in BDSM, and we the general we as a community have to do better about educating and letting people know that it's not acceptable and all of those things. But I'm like, wait, you would totally get shunned by everybody for this kink thing you're into, but you're gonna look down on somebody else who lives a life you don't understand?
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
Right.
I think hopefully that'll be my only rant for today, but
Yeah.
there we go.
So yeah, there it pretty much is in a nutshell.
Yeah. Basically, I feel like I just don't like some people. I think that's not a BDSM thing. That's just a life thing. Okay. I don't know what's going on with my hands today. Podcast listeners, be very glad you cannot watch me because the hands are talking. The hands are talking. Next question. What's one thing that you haven't tried but want to? I can't think of anything.
I can't think of anything either.
the things we are interested in enough to get the toy, learn the thing, we have on some level tried. Impact
Pretty
play is
much, yeah.
definitely our thing. We've tried wax play, we've tried electroplay. When we feel safe to do it, we play publicly.
Yeah.
I mean, publicly, if you're new here, we mean at the BDSM dungeon. We also have strong opinions on public kink play.
Yeah.
Don't get me started on that one.
Yeah.
We've had a threesome. I mean, like...
I'd like to do that again. But
I mean, yeah, but that's again.
Yeah.
That's not a thing we haven't
I know.
tried. I can't think of anything.
I know. I can't either. You know what? I think over break, you and I need to sit down and do a DS checklist again.
Probably.
And really, because...
I think it's because we're not thinking of things.
Right.
We have done the things we thought about, but we're not consistently exploring what other things are out there to go, would I like to try that? So, yeah, that's probably...
Well,
maybe we should turn that into a video. Because we're here for content ideas. Do a DS checklist
Well,
together.
and here's my thought on that. Because, we have been so focused the last few years between moving and getting our house, doing our business things. And we both admitted in the last episode that our own kink life has been put on the back burner to achieve these goals. So I think maybe we need to sit down over this break and you and I do a DS checklist.
Yes, and turn a camera on while we do.
And yeah, well, okay, all right.
Content ideas.
But
here's the problem. At this point, do you know how much stuff we have put into these 2 weeks already?
I know.
But you're not wrong. I would, it's weird. I keep thinking about what are my goals for 2021? And business, professional related, it is mostly a keep on keeping on. I have had goals. I'm still working towards them. We are still working towards goals.
Right.
I put plans in motion earlier this year that couldn't come to fruition until 2021 or 2022. So I'm still working those. So I'm like, okay, well, but what goals do I have? And I'm like, well, maybe they need to be personal goals, relationship goals.
Right.
We shall see how that goes. But we do keep saying, when we're off and we have a very long laundry list of things. Am I going to be allowed to sleep in and sit in my pajamas? Right? I don't think so. We're going to be doing a lot of things over those 2 weeks. Okay. Next question. What's the first thing you're going to do when the pandemic is over? So I want to make it clear from my perspective. Other people will definitely see it differently.
Right.
This pandemic, I don't believe, is going to have a today it's over. I think
Right.
it's going to be this soft fading
Trickle.
away because vaccinations are going to, God knows, they're going to take a long time, especially in the U.S. where we don't have a good centralized system for that kind of stuff. And it's production, and for us, 330 million people, we know that the moment we are eligible for a vaccine, for the COVID vaccine, we are getting it. The whole damn family's going.
Right.
Roll up to the CVS or whatever it is. But depending on that kind of timing, I don't think there's going to be a point where it's like, pandemic is over. I think there's going to be a point where we are comfortable again. So whatever that point is.
And I think for me, there's two sides to this. On our vanilla side, I am so looking forward to going out to eat and sitting in a restaurant.
I'll be $100 meal. I mean, we'll order everything.
I would be so thrilled to go to a breakfast place.
Oh God, a diner.
And have an omelet or something like that.
Yeah, I want to make your coffee in a restaurant and freak the server out.
Do that. I know there are some clubs in communities that are safely open, Woodshed being one of them. We have not had the level of comfort to do that yet.
Nope.
I am so ready.
Oh yeah.
To go to a club and play and do a scene and pull the toy bag out and brush some of that off and just do a scene at the club and play and hear you scream and yell
Yes, louder than the music.
Yeah. That is something I am looking forward to.
I agree with you on both. If I were to add something different or, specific to me, if my mother doesn't do it first, one of us is getting in the car and driving to the other. Prior to all of this, my mom was visiting here like every couple of months.
Yeah.
And we were visiting her up until a thing that happened in 2019. That's some bullshit. And I just want to like see my mom again. I don't think too much about how much I miss her because I have lived apart from her and well enough away from her for long enough that I'm not constantly going, oh no. And I'm just not that, as sentimental as some other people might be about who I miss. I miss people, but I just don't think about that stuff very often. And in this moment when I'm thinking about it, I'm like, oh my God, I miss my mom. So after we go out to eat and we go to the fucking club and we get our kink fuck shit on, I've lost words. I want to go see my mom. Or I want my mom to come here.
Yeah.
We were going to kind of try a meet in the middle, like in a parking lot wearing our mask thing. And then the numbers like just exponentially grew. And she went, I don't feel comfortable with that. And I'm like, no, me neither. So that is probably a thing. Okay. Person asks the differences between littles and middles. So this goes back to sort of like our CNC conversation. I'm not going to speak too much on this because I do not feel like I can credibly speak on this. Because while I am most definitely a baby girl and I consider that to live within the spectrum of the little world, I don't spend enough time thinking about what it means to be a little outside of my experience. But what I think I know, and gosh, anybody who actually identifies either as a little or as a middle can certainly chime in and share their perspective or tell me when I'm wrong. Littles tend to, whether they identify with a very specific age or not, they do not always, they are of the, I would say like young elementary school age, like maybe 7 or 8 age frame and down. So they like stereotypically younger things. This is where you might get, if somebody's into it, pacifiers and maybe even diapers if they're into that kind of play, or very sort of a baby talk kind of thing. And my understanding about middles is they are in that sort of tween to early teen-ish age, maybe even a little older. I have not looked into it that much. And so they still identify in a younger than their natural age way, but it tends to, and this is not universal, be more towards things that like a 12 or 13-year-old might be more geared to. But from what I have seen, there can still be overlap. Somebody can consider themselves a middle, and again, they might identify with a specific age. They might just identify with an age range, and like aspects of what somebody else might consider stereotypically a little activity or item or whatever. There's so much of a range of what it means to be a little, what it means to be a middle, what it means to be in all of that, both in terms of just headspace, also in terms of specific forms of play, also in terms of relationship styles, that it's a big topic. And if there's a good resource out there of somebody who is breaking this down, somebody share it with us, because I am not that resource. I know I'm a baby girl. I know that that touches on a childlike side of myself, and things that stereotypically kids tend to like. There are a few of those things I like. I do allow myself to be a little childlike. I will giggle and I will whine and I will pout, but that's the extent of it for me. And the world of littles and middles and all that is bigger than people realize. Oh, yeah. And so that is all I have to say about that.
Yeah. Okay.
So, okay. This one, it took me a minute to have a thought on it. It says, any thoughts on making safer sex kinky? So I'm going to interpret that question as like, safer sex is, there's wearing condoms and barriers. There's also talking about, whether you've been tested for STIs or what your status with an STI might be. The only thing that came to mind in how to make that kinky, and of course this would have to be with full consent of both parties. You can't just be demanding shit in a kinky way and think somebody's going to give it to you, is let's say we're talking about using a condom. Well, if you are in a position where you feel like that is what you need to do and that would be the safest way to have sex, a kinky way would be to, one thing that came to mind, and I'm sure there are other ways to do this, would be if it's the dom or top that is going to wear the condom, having their submissive partner put it on them. I mean, that is the limit of what I can think of. I am so grateful that I have not had to navigate that with you in the way that other people sometimes have to navigate that. There's probably more that we should do with that than that we do, because you have had multiple partners, but it's now been so long that is a conversation for post-pandemic. But I don't have to navigate that so much, so I don't have a lot of thoughts. If there's a resource, I know Ignixie is in the live stream chat. I'm just saying that Ignixie, if Ignixie is not already talking about it, hi Ignixie, if you'd like to. I'd love to point people your way, but also if you know of a resource for kinky safer sex practices, meaning you're doing safer sex and want to make it kinky. Safer sex, but make it kinky. I will pass along any resources. Excuse me. Okay, next question. What do you recommend if you think you might be poly, but your partner is strongly monogamous? We have talked about this before. Yeah. So one thought that came to mind when I read this question, and it's not a thought I had, it was something I heard, and I had this light bulb moment because I hadn't thought about it this way. And it is somebody, and I can't remember who, was talking about their relationship, and their partner is poly and they are monogamous, but the way they have chosen to do that is that they are monogamous, so they are only with their partner, but because their partner is poly, they have given sort of their consent to their poly partner having multiple partners. So they themselves are still monogamous because they just want to be with that one person, but they are okay with their partner being with other people. So I had not thought of that before. I had always thought of it as, oh, you're monogamous, so that means you want your partner to be monogamous too. But really, there are so many different ways to deal with that. To this person, I'd say, okay, they might be monogamous, that's fine. How do they feel about you being monogamous? The likeliest answer is that they would also like you to be monogamous. Yeah. That is very common. But the other thing that comes to mind when I see a question like this is, what do you need to be, and what do you want as the poly person to feel fulfilled in your life and in your relationship? Is it something that can be mild flirtation? Is it something that can live in the realm of fantasy? It's okay if the answer is no. Okay. Is your partner okay with you just exploring it, even if you're not actively seeing other people yet? Can this be done in stages? Like, there's a lot of conversation that needs to happen if you want to act on your poly self. If in a question like this, I have more questions. Like, how strong is this existing relationship? Have y'all been married for 20 years and you're super happy? Or did you meet 10 minutes ago and you don't know their last name yet? Yeah. It's a varying degree of how to handle it based on where you're at in your relationship. And if this is a relationship that you want to keep going regardless of anything else, then you make different decisions, as opposed to when it's a relationship where you're like, actually, I'm super unhappy and think this person really can go somewhere else. You just do different things then. So is it possible for one partner to be poly and the other one to be monogamous and for you to make it work? Yes. Is that the norm? Is anything the norm? We're talking about BDSM here. Nothing's the norm. Nothing's the norm.
Yeah. Now, I don't really have much to add over what you've already said. But Mel did bring up a good resource, and I watched several of this person's videos before, and they give some really, really good talks about being poly. They are on YouTube, and their channel is called Boldly Grow. And they have fantastic poly resources on that channel. So that would definitely be something to
And the
to look
site
at.
we always recommend is a site. I don't think Paige has a YouTube channel. I think it's just a website. Poly.land. There's a podcast, Multi-Amory.
Right.
There are a ton of resources out there that dive into these topics because this is just a huge part of navigating a poly life, especially if you're kind of finding your poly self in the midst of an existing relationship. A lot of people have to navigate this kind of thing.
And Silent Wing, you're absolutely right. Someone may think they're okay with it until it, actually happens. Even us, when we talked about being poly long before we ever did anything.
And I'm still only poly in theory.
And even at that point, when we had talked and we set different boundaries and things that we thought were okay with, the first time I went out with somebody,
I struggled so much.
She struggled, and we had to take a step back and regroup and talk about it some more.
And I know this is not universally true because there's nothing that's universally true, but the thing that I experienced that I have heard other people talk about a lot is that what can often happen is the partner who's left at home doesn't have multiple other partners or whatever can feel jealous or insecure or envious or whatever the emotion is, have a strong emotional reaction. And that what some of us learn, and I've learned, is that is my shit that I have to deal with. Meaning, those feelings are coming from within me for a reason. In my case, it was absolutely insecurities I have about, will the person I love leave me? I could have attempted to demand that because I have these feelings, you don't get to have other partners. The choice I made, and I think that in many cases this is the choice to make, I would recommend it, I would say, is I actually had to work on my shit. I had to work on why I felt that way. I had to work on where those feelings were coming from. Was it something that was happening because you did something or said something, or is this all made up in my head? What I didn't want to do, and it was a conscious choice and it was not an easy one, was I did not want to say, no, you can't be poly because I am having hard emotions I don't know how to deal with. Instead, I took the time, and we did take a step back and we did slow things down.
Right.
But I chose to take the time to work on me. Now, that does not mean I'm perfect. You and I haven't even talked about this. Hi, therapy session. Thank you for being our therapist. We went through our rough spot a couple weeks ago, right? Within the past week or so. And you have people that you are chatting with and other things because it's a pandemic, so, it's not like it's in person. And I still, even now, had that old kick of a feeling of, what if he likes some better than me? And it's because you and I had just been fussing with one another. We'd been in arguments. We were speaking over one another and at one another and on to each other. And that feeling can still rise up in me, but I don't make you change everything you're doing for that feeling. I deal with it. Now, not everybody is going to handle it that way, wants to handle it that way, thinks they should handle it that way. Those are choices that I'm making, but I have seen enough people have those kinds of conversations about that's how they handle it. And I do think that it's because even if I'm never poly in practice and it is always theory, I am open to the idea of it. If I was completely closed off to the idea of it, that would be completely different. But because I'm open to it and, I have made that decision that I would deal with those feelings. Now, it doesn't mean I don't talk to you about them. Not that last one I just mentioned, but hey, that was me just talking to him about it. But I also don't expect you to fix it for me. I don't expect you to change everything you're doing just so I feel better. I guess maybe I had read enough or heard enough from other people who know more about the poly life than I do talking about it, because something about that, just I internalized that idea, and that's how I navigate it. Not everybody's gonna be that way, I get it, but it's a possibility. Yeah. It's a way to handle it.
Now, Ignixia just mentioned a book. It's called When Someone You Love is Polyamorous.
I don't think I've heard of that.
No, me either.
So, okay, write that down.
Right. Yep, I am.
Too bad we've already picked our kinky book clubs.
Right.
Books for the year. Whatever. We're moving on to the next question.
Okay.
Somebody asked for info on how to deal with disabilities and BDSM and DS relationships. Would never feel qualified. I have an old Twitter thread that I need to go find that I will link in the show notes in the video later. I basically put out a call and went, hey, who out here is talking about disability and BDSM? And a whole bunch of people answered the tweet, and then my entire intention was to create a page for lovingbdsm.net with those resources. Did I do it? No, I didn't. But I would in no way feel qualified to discuss that.
Yeah.
I will at least link that Twitter thread when we get done recording. So kinksters who navigate disabilities and BDSM can get information from people who are more qualified to speak on it than I am. And yay, thank you, Ignixia, in the live stream chat. Ignixia does classes on that. So I will also link to Ignixia's site in the show notes, so you can go find and follow Ignixia and learn from her. Okay, next question. When was the last time we did impact play, and what did we use? Technically, we always do a little bit, because you spank my ass almost every day.
You get a hand spanking every night before bed.
I mean, it's to varying degrees, and lately it's been...
depending on...
You were also sick, so I'm not going to hold you to the same standard as when you're healthy.
That's true. The last actual scene we did... What did I use? I used the leather paddle.
Okay.
That we have.
The one made by Lodbrock?
Yep.
That's now under a different company name, and I can't say it? Okay.
And I also used one of my own ping pong paddles.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
My handmade ping pong paddle.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that. I remember that. I'm going to take notes.
Yep.
Good. I'm going to take notes because a lot of resources are getting thrown around in the live stream chat on disabilities and BDSM, and I will add that to my page. I'm totally going to make. There
you go.
But this next question is specifically for you, JB.
Okay.
My Dom is getting into kinky woodworking. Welcome. Any tips, tricks, sage wisdom for him?
Goodness. Let's see. Tips, tricks. Trying to think. As far as tips. Well, I have to say, I think one of the things I found in this journey, I started on one end of the spectrum, doing vanilla turning, and I've totally taken a one total turn in the other direction with the kink stuff. And I guess what I would say is one of the things I found over time is, now there was certain wisdom in this, because when I first started buying tools, I didn't know how far I was going to go with this, and I have completely outgrown the tools I had. And I think in some cases you have to, while it can be cost prohibitive, I think you also kind of need to look at a tool you're acquiring and look at the possibility of growth, And
yet, I would also say that you got really far on your cheap little tools.
I did. I pushed them beyond their means in many cases.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, and somebody in the chat has made a comment about ordering tools during a pandemic.
Yeah, don't.
That has been a challenge. I ordered a new drum sander in July, and I received it in September.
But you did receive it.
But I did receive it. One of the things that I'm upgrading this year is my bandsaw. My bandsaw up until this point has been a 10-inch tabletop bandsaw, and I ordered that around the end of August, and at this point it has a ship date of the end of December. So yeah, it has
Merry
been
Christmas to you.
Yeah, right. Maybe Happy New Year at this point. Shipping on, and that because that's only the ship date.
That's true. That's true.
That's not when it's going to be here. Mm-hmm. So that has been a big practice in patience this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, kind of, think about what you want to do with what your goals are for what you want to make, and look at the tools that you have and what you can accomplish with your tools.
And I was not asked this question, but I have thoughts because I live with this man, and also creative work is creative work, whether it's mental and emotional creativity or it's physical making a thing creativity. And the one thing that you get stuck on, and all the writers I know get stuck on, is that you will see somebody else who has made a thing that you're thinking of making. Do not get fooled into, oh, I can't make that wood paddle because some other rando made a wood paddle. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Nobody will ever make it the way that you do. What you don't want to do is copy, cut for cut what somebody else has made. You don't want to copy their designs. You put your own spin on it. You can be inspired by what other people make. We have been inspired with certain products. But just because you see somebody else making it doesn't mean you can't. And also, from a woodworking specific perspective, because I lived through this, it's okay if what you make is simple as long as it's well made. You have gone through, and I don't know if it's been recent for you because you haven't talked to me about it because we've been a little busy. You absolutely in the past went through periods where you were not sure of your own work because it wasn't as ornate or complicated or whatever as something else you saw that you liked. And you're like, I just make a simple paddle. And I'm like, hey, not everybody wants, this thing you saw that we can't be recreated. Mm-hmm. Some people just want a simple wooden paddle, and that's okay. Also, everybody starts from a beginning level of some sort, and you get to grow from there over time. And so maybe one day you will make, and you are in a way making more ornate things. Yeah. But yeah, I've watched you go through that. I watch other creatives go through that all the time. It's just a whole thing when you are a maker of things. Do not let what other people are doing discourage you and think that you can't do it because it's too similar or it's not, as special or whatever. So that would be my my advice on that. So we have gone through all the questions we got on Instagram.
Okay.
Anybody who would like to ask a question in the live stream chat, we will we'll take probably 2 or 3. So if we get bombarded, I'm sorry, we're only going to take 2 or 3. Let's see. While we wait for folks to type in their question, we did get an idea for a poll for Mr. Spock. Thank you, Mr. Spock. Which holiday will JB's Saw show up closest to? Please be New Year's. Right. Because there are things you want to make and I want you to make that you need the big boy saw for. But yeah. I'm trying to think. What can we say to fill the time in case anybody has questions? I don't know. I have enjoyed this year, even though it's a pandemic. I've enjoyed this year from a being part of loving BDSM perspective. I still 5 years of podcasting and now YouTubing. It's not 5 years of YouTubing, but you know what I mean. I still walk away from some episodes going, wow, that was a good episode. I'm really proud of what we made. And then there are other weeks I walk away from an episode and I'm like, oh my God, did any of the words that came out of my mouth even make sense? Did I say anything intelligible? Those are the weeks that when I go back to put the timestamps in the YouTube video version, I end up listening to almost the whole thing because I'm waiting to hear me say something absolutely ridiculous. A question we got. How's Lola? She is sleeping in her crate right now. Like she has not a fucking care in the world.
And she doesn't.
And she has a vet appointment on Thursday. Podcast listeners, that will be in your direct past. YouTube watchers in your direct future, where we hope they do not tell us we have to keep giving her medicated baths every 3 days. Although these are the most workouts I've gotten in a year, so not gonna complain about that too much. We do think we might put her on a chicken-free diet to see if that helps her skin allergies. We're hoping that we can do minimal medication, but otherwise she's wonderful and perfect. Onyx is also coming out of her shell and is aggressively saying, you will pet me, but only in the confines of the bedroom, but you will pet me while you're here. So
well, and the cat,
we were going to say this for bonus section, but we're waiting for questions to come through. So you got to tell the story.
This morning I'm sitting in the office doing my morning thing, drinking coffee, emails, FetLife, yada yada. And Lola is in the living room sleeping on her bed. And I go into the kitchen to get Lola's breakfast. So I reach down, pick up Lola's food bowl, turn around and put it on the counter. Once it hits the counter, Lola hears it, and she gets up and she does the shake. Next thing I know, off the top of the refrigerator, a cat comes sailing down onto the counter, springboards off, and then bounces in back over the baby gate into the bedroom.
We didn't know she was getting up on the top of the fridge.
Apparently she was sitting on top of the fridge, which gave her a vantage point to watch the dog sleeping in the living room.
Observing. Got to know your enemy.
Yeah. So the cat has been becoming more adventurous.
Which is good. Maybe one day we can take Baby Gate down. Okay, let's see. We've got some questions coming through. Sharon asked a question that is somewhere up in the live stream, but Sharon, you might have to repeat it, about a partner being kneed in the testicles every 30 to 60 minutes as a kink of his.
I don't know.
I mean, I know.
I know there are people that...
Is that safe? I don't know.
Yeah. There are people that apparently have it done.
Sure.
They do enjoy that as a kink. I know nothing about it.
I would say in the live stream chat, if there are any medical professionals who can speak on any of that, please feel free. And then Shy Bean asks, have we tried HypnoPlay, or do we know where to get more information on it? No, we have not tried it. We together have not tried HypnoPlay.
No.
Have you ever tried it?
I have never tried it with anybody else.
There are some resources out there. I only know of them because I've heard that they exist. I do not have any direct resources to point somebody to.
No, I don't either. I know there are some resources on FetLife in regards to HypnoPlay. It has been something that has kind of been gaining ground the last few years.
And actually, and I cannot, if I still have this email, I don't know if I still have this email. I just got an email today from somebody. No, okay, that was, I don't know this person. They are in my email.
Okay.
They go by the name Hypnosis Doug. I do not have it. They also have a podcast of their own. It's called anywherehypnosis.com. They deal with hypnosis in a variety of forms, but including erotic hypnosis and the basics of BDSM hypnosis. Anywherehypnosis.com. Cannot verify who they are, whether they're any good, whether they're credible, but that is somebody who showed up in our inbox today or this week. But I know that we had, ages ago, we had somebody who was a sponsor who was into erotic hypnosis. And can I remember that person's name? No, I cannot. I'll bet money, though, because of the way search works on our site, lovingbdsm.net. If you search hypnosis, I bet the episodes where they sponsored will pop up. We didn't talk about hypnosis in those episodes, but I linked to the site.
Right.
And they might have some information, but yeah, we are not credible authorities to direct anybody to. So,
okay.
and Icnixia is giving some advice, which is good. Please be very careful. The first thing to learn is how to undo the suggestions. Thank you, Icnixia. And if they don't teach you how to undo it before teaching you how to do it, be very careful. Yeah, we have known some people who have been into it, but it's just not a thing that we are familiar with.
No.
Okay, so thank you all for your questions. We will do a bonus section, because even though we just talked about Lola and Onyx, because we do have a Christmas tree story to share. So thank y'all for being here with us today for this episode, but also throughout 2020. For anybody who's been here longer, hi, we see you. For the OGs, and I know the OGs are still out there from like the first few episodes. They've been rocking along with us. Thank you. We will miss you for the 2 weeks we're gone. We will do a Friday night live stream hangout this Friday, whatever date that is, the 18th, I believe, 9:30 until whenever. Now that everybody is healthy, the whenever will be later than it was last week. There may even be adult beverages on this side of the camera, because that will mark the end of my working week, and I get to go into a 2-week break from work.
Right.
So I'm gonna need to celebrate. And then we'll have a video that comes out on YouTube, I think, the following Monday. But then that's it for us until we're back for the first live stream after New Year. So hopefully you'll stick around for the bonus section where we will just bullshit for a little bit longer. But thank y'all for everything, just in general.
Yes.
Ever. Without y'all, we are just crazy people talking to ourselves on the internet. Okay, so we can do our bonus section now.
Okay. So are we good?
I don't know.
Keep it kinky, y'all.
I'll see ya. Oh God, in a while. Daddy.
Yes, baby girl.
Can I talk to the crickets? Please, please, please. Pretty, please.
You want to talk?
I do want to talk to the crickets.
You want to talk to the crickets?
I think the crickets want to talk to us. I'm just saying.
I think it's more you talking to the crickets because they can't talk to us.
The few who are in the live stream can.
Oh.
And they do. And they do.
True.
And then I get tweets and I get FetLife DMs and then I get emails. I take forever to answer all of those, but I do get them.
Go ahead, baby girl.
Thank you, Daddy. Okay, here we are in the bonus section. Oh my God, I forgot what it was called. So, real quick, we are still doing the postcard project. If anybody, it doesn't have to be a postcard. It's a postcard because we're sending postcards. You can send us a handwritten letter for all I care. I have not checked the mailbox in a week, so I don't know if we've gotten any. If you sent something and you don't see it behind our head on the YouTube video part, I haven't checked the box. But if you send us something with your return address on it, and you do have to be located in the U.S. for this because of the nature of a postage situation, we will send you a postcard that says, "It's fine. I'm fine. Everything is fine." I will write on it mistakes were made. Why? Because the only reason I'm doing this project is because mistakes were made when I purchased postcard stamps. And now I'm going to fix it by sending y'all postcards. But it's family-friendly postcards. You won't get any weird looks from your mail carrier. So that is going on. Emoji of the week.
I haven't thought about that.
Okay, please, because I don't.
And I meant to bring it up to you earlier, but in the rush of things we've been doing, I forgot.
Okay.
Christmas tree emoji.
I was just thinking that. I love it when we think of the same thing. A Christmas tree emoji is our emoji of the week. Because we have... It's only dramatic to us. Somebody's going to roll their eyes out there. It's okay. We have a Christmas tree story.
Right.
I'll give you a spoiler. We do have a Christmas tree. It has not one ornament on it right now.
No, it's not.
But we do have a Christmas tree.
Yep.
Okay, you tell the story.
So, as we talked about, for those of you who know, but some don't, we thought we would do the correct thing. And at Thanksgiving time, November 26th, to be exact, we ordered our Christmas tree online
for a curbside pickup scenario.
Right.
Like we were going to go to the store, pick it up, not be all breathing on folks or anything.
Yeah. And at the time we bought this, we had picked out a Christmas tree, and we had also talked in the past about getting those swirling light projectors to put on the house. So we wouldn't have to put up lights, but we had something on the house. And so we looked online. Lowe's was having a sale, and we found a tree we really, really liked at a good price. And it said they had them in stock at the store. So we ordered, and it said give 3 to 7 days for pickup. Well, 8 days went by, and we heard nothing. And I called them, and they said, oh, it's in transit. Waited several more days. Called again. It's in transit. We went to the store, talked to them. Oh, well, we have the shipping number, tracking number. It is on its way. It will be here shortly. We will let you know, and you can, come pick it up. So we went on our way thinking we'll have a tree very shortly. Yeah. Several more days went by. I called again. Nothing. No updates. So, what, another 2 or 3 days?
Because you were sick during that time,
I was
so we
sick.
didn't do anything with it. And you ordered it, so your name was on it, so I just sort of left it alone.
Yep. And I decided, okay, I'm not calling because I don't really get any satisfaction with the phone calls from them. So it was Sunday, right?
I think so,
This past Sunday.
I think so.
And her and I talked about it. I was better, but I still wasn't 100%. And we talked about it, and I said, so what do you want to do? We're kind of down to the wire on this. And
my mom used to work for Lowe's, worked there for 35 years. She's retired, but I text her going, who do we ask to speak to? Because I understand it's a pandemic, and we're being super patient. It's a pandemic and a holiday. Okay, but this, what the fuck? And she went, oh no, this is ridiculous. Somebody needs to be researching to at least, and she's like, it sounds like they don't even have any and they're just too afraid to tell you. And I was like, oh, you're not filling me with confidence. But she was like, you talk to this person and you say these words. And I was like, yes, ma'am.
Right. So I went there in person on Sunday, and I had my order number. I was like, please look this up. And she did. And she's like, oh, well, here's the tracking number. It's on its way. It's been shipped. And I was like, look. Said, since the day this has been ordered, you've been telling me this is in transit and it's on the way. Said, can you take that tracking number, look it up, and tell me where it is? And she's like, excuse me a minute.
Famous last words of customer service retail.
She comes back And she tells me, well, these numbers are rather difficult to look up to find out where it is. And I was like, okay, here's what I want to do. I want to cancel the order.
Give me my money back.
Yep, I want my money back at this point. She's like, okay.
And it's funny. I've been on that person's side of it, both at Lowe's and in retail in general. And you kind of don't care. You're like, you want a refund? Happy to click the buttons. Yeah. Go about your merry day. Yeah. But I know how management thinks because I've been in management too. And what they want you to do is go, well, can I fix this? Can I salvage this? Can we do an exchange? Like they want you to, like, I've seen both sides of it. And so it is. As a former retail hourly employee, I'm like, yeah, that's what you do. As a former manager, I'm like, actually, there were like 85 other things that should have been said. That should have been said and done, right? Which weren't. But there's a reason I'm not in retail anymore. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, and so the order was canceled. Then she asked me, she goes, "Would you like me to print you out a copy of the cancellation order?" And I said, "Yes, please." She walks away, comes back. "I'm sorry, we can't print those, but you will receive an email."
Your next thing here cracked me up. I worship you as a hero.
So, at this point, me being ever skeptical, but yet wanting a Christmas tree
Just
for
want a
us.
Christmas tree!
I went outside of Lowe's, had a seat on the bench, and I waited until I received email confirmation that this order had, in fact, been canceled.
And then
turned around and went back into the store and shopped for a tree.
And came home with a tree.
So the tree we have is not the one we ordered.
It's a very nice tree, though.
It's a very nice tree. And because of the time frame, actually got it at a better price than the one we had ordered. So I ended up coming home with a tree, and that tree was put up that day.
And unfortunately, you're still recovering from being sick. Yeah. I am in a last-minute marathon to finish all of my work stuff so I can take 2 weeks off. So there's been no time to decorate said tree. Right. That's our plan for this weekend. And we will then leave the tree up until probably New Year, so we feel like we actually had a tree up and decorated for a decent amount of time. Normally, we're like day after Christmas, this shit's coming down. Let's put it away. Not this year. We'll wait till New Year's.
We'll wait till New Year's this year. Yeah. So yeah, the whole getting a Christmas tree has been a journey.
Yes, and what's funny is we would have skipped all of this if we had just gotten a live tree like we did last year. But after everything we learned about live trees and cats, we were like,
maybe not.
We had talked about going back to a artificial tree anyway. Maybe this is a good reason and time to do it. But it's been a journey.
Yes, it has. It has.
A journey. It's a beautiful tree. I actually, we have so many Christmas ornaments because one of the family traditions for my aunt and uncle is to give us personalized ornaments every year. So even if all we used was that, like half the tree would be decorated. I actually love, because it's a pre-lit tree, I love it just having the lights and the star on top. I would put the tree skirt on, leave it like that, and be happy. But I'm like, but we have so many ornaments. We also have our office Christmas tree. We haven't put ornaments on that either. And it's pretty. It's
I was the tree fluffer this year.
You were the tree fluffer.
I fluffed
Thank you for your
the
service.
big tree. And then I fluffed and hooked up the little office tree here,
I love a fluffed artificial tree. I have definite opinions on what constitutes correct fluffing of an artificial tree. I hate fluffing an artificial tree.
But you're a good fluff. You're a good tree fluffer.
Because I'm so fucking picky about it.
Yeah, you're a good tree fluffer. And that's true, Silent Wing. We will not have to deal with any of this.
Done.
After this. And I told her, I said, this stupid tree for everything better outlive me.
Yeah. I'm tempted to do what your aunt does and every season, holiday season.
Just leave it up and repurpose it.
Now we got a Valentine's tree. Now we got an Easter tree. Whatever. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's the tree story.
Yeah.
What else? Nothing. I mean, I've just been working, and you've been recovering from being sick.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Spock, good advice for podcast listeners who can't read it. I'd probably avoid anything else for the remainder of 2020, JB.
Right.
You don't seem to have good luck.
It seems like my luck in ordering things this year.
You're not allowed to order anything
has
else.
seriously taken a severe downhill trend.
I will point out everything I've ordered this year. There might have been a day or two delay. Everything's arrived. It's only you. I mean, even our new shipping label printer, which makes me so happy. Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm in love with this little thermal printer. It arrived very quickly, set up very quickly. Yeah. I'm using it happily. I needed... I mailed, I got everybody gift cards in the family for presents this year because it was easiest to ship. And I like to buy gift cards. And so they all went in this teeny tiny little box and I sent them off. But the Christmas card I got did not fit in the box. It was really wide. So I needed to mail that separately. And I was like, oh my God, is the ink for my pen going to show up when I address it to send to my mom? I was like, can I use one of these 4x6 labels? Could I? On top of this red, I was like, "Oh my God, you've gone too far. You are not printing a shipping label to mail a 55-cent envelope. You're not doing it. Walk away from the thermal printer."
I had no idea you went down that kind of rabbit hole. Oh my God!
I did. I was trying to work it out in my head with click and ship with USPS. How would that work?
Wow.
What would that look like? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know, right, Tywing? She's definitely, salt in the wound there.
Hey, feel like I'm losing out by you not having your bandsaw either. There are many, many things you could be making that you are not making. I too am losing out.
Jennifer, I was thinking that exact same thing.
So for podcast listeners, Jennifer, thanks for having my back there.
Yeah.
Says it just means that Kayla has a new service she has to perform. She's now in charge of all computer ordering from now on. Otherwise, you're out of luck. Look, I don't love spending money. Let's not lie.
Clarify that.
I enjoy buying things on the internet. I do not enjoy the stress of the regret I feel once I've hit order or I'm waiting for it, because then I'm like, should I have bought this? I don't know. I don't enjoy that part. I do enjoy online shopping. Thank you. I would happily do that, but I don't think I have time. Oh, God.
But I just have to say, as an addendum to the Christmas tree story, I think the final straw for me with that was when I received an email from Lowe's asking me how I liked my purchase and would I rate it.
And it was still in transit.
Yeah. I kind of lost it.
Oh, God, he did.
That's what pushed me over the edge. I
was sitting on the couch or something, and he whips around. He's like, they want me to review it. It's not even here. I was like, yeah, that's not a good look. That's not a good look for Lowe's at all. We have had that happen before.
Yeah,
well, you talked about it when you ordered your bandsaw and and some wheels to put on the bottom so you can move it.
Yeah.
And you got the wheels.
The wheels within a week.
Right. And then you got the please review your wheels.
Yeah.
Those automated emails will get you, man.
The wheels are still sitting in a box waiting for the saw to arrive. And hello, Gabby, and welcome. Glad to have you here with us.
So, it's been a wild ride of a week, a month, God knows a year. You crack me up with your whispering.
I know.
Okay. JB will be right back. I don't know where he's going. I didn't ask. There's part of me that does not want to end this stream/recording because other than the Friday night live stream, we will not talk to y'all for a couple of weeks, but it's okay. It's okay. We'll be back. I don't have anything. I do want to say, for those who celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas. For those who celebrate Hanukkah, because I know we're like almost at the end of it, Happy Hanukkah. is it Happy Kwanzaa or is it Merry? I think it's Happy Kwanzaa, right? For those who celebrate that. I know the solstice. I'm trying to remember these things and I suck at it. I'm barely keeping up with the fact that it's Christmas and I celebrate that, y'all. But we do hope that however you celebrate this time of year, if you celebrate it, that it's a good one, and that if you don't celebrate it, it's at least a peaceful time of year. Yeah. My way of making life a little bit more peaceful is I actually am looking at the news a little bit less often. I'm trying to encourage JB to do the same so he too can have a little bit of peace. Saturnalia, thank you, Kenneth. I knew there was one I was not thinking of. Yeah, we love you guys. We love hanging out with you. I can ask y'all, this is the cricket section. This is the time for my diehards who are like, actually, we want to be here because we're choosing to be here when you're not talking about BDSM. I do wonder about the bonus sections. I think they're fun for the folks who are here, which is a perfectly good reason to do them, but I worry that should we be doing them? I don't want to stop it. I enjoy this, but I worry that our bonus sections are purely self-indulgent. Yeah, so I'll let those who either listen to the bonus section or watch it tell us what you think. But yeah, I don't know. I have this moment of, why do we think we're so special? We should take up time to talk about our cats, dogs, and Christmas trees. I think that might be my own like anxieties, imposter syndrome kicking in. It happens. But yeah, I have those moments. It's right up there with, oh my God, did we say anything intelligible? Let me go rewatch or re-listen to the whole episode to make sure we didn't embarrass ourselves.
We're getting a lot of people who say they like it in the live chat.
And Taishu is giving like the wisdom there. It's our live stream. Be self-indulgent. Would this be, it's not a vlog because we're not walking around with a camera, but would this section be like a vloggy section? I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know. What was I just thinking? I lost my train of thought. I think many things. I worry. Why do I worry about this? Why do I care? I worry about annoying total strangers. I would rather not annoy my friends, but I worry about annoying total strangers. What is wrong with me? I don't know. So, Crow dropped some wisdom here, some like reality.
All right.
All of it is sort of self-indulgent, but since we all like you, it doesn't matter. Okay. That's real talk right there. It is self-indulgent.
And Eva says with the Friday nights going to be minimalized soon.
Yeah. You know what it is? I compare myself to other creators. And I'm like, I admire what other creators do. So I'm like, oh, look at them over there being all like professional and shit. And we're just two goofballs. And the professional ones are usually like half our freaking age. And I'm like, I'm just a middle-aged lady on the internet.
Crow says you worry too much, you need a spanking. I like that train of thought.
I mean, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I would love a spanking. I'm pretty sure I am stuck in my own head. Oh, and I didn't mention this earlier, but I was really like pleased and super proud and had a oh my gosh kind of moment in Evie Lupine's latest video on gift giving. We got a mention. We helped inspire that episode.
Yeah.
I was like, OMG. Yeah. You know what I think it is? I do think our short videos, I'll pretend to be remotely professional, like I'm actually trying to help people. And in these live streams, at the end at least, I'll just talk about what the fuck I want to talk about and that other people ask about.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And that's kind of a good point, Eva. I mean, no, you're not. Y'all aren't strangers anymore.
No.
We're all just sitting around chatting, having.
And I don't. Both on the live stream and in the podcast, especially when we people were tweeting at us more from listening to the podcast. Hi, podcast listeners. I don't think of anybody who I know listens or watches and in some small ways interacts with us as strangers. Like I might be awkward if we ever met in person, but I would, within minutes, would be super comfortable because it's just us. I do absolutely have persona Kayla Lords that enters a room and is way different than interlegal name here entering a room. Just
true.
It's a headspace.
True.
Yes, Nixie is right. Spankings are a great mental reset.
Mm-hmm.
They are. It's
From
desperately
both ends
needed.
of the spectrum.
Yeah, for sure. This has nothing to do with BDSM, but we're talking about spankings, and that's what made me think of it. One of the things I wish I could see a way to change, but I don't see how because I feel like I'm on this massive roller coaster right now, is how to claw back personal time.
Yeah.
And kind of get off the train I'm on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm mixing my metaphors. It's fine. Because everything is constant. We're constantly go, 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 and it's all external stuff. It's all business, or it's content, or it's not us. It's not me. It's not you. And it's like, what? How? Because I don't want to give up any of those things.
Yeah.
So how do I claw back that and get some space, some mental space, some physical space, some time? I don't know.
I think that's goal we need to work towards now. That's going to be our next thing.
Can I just become, independently wealthy by winning the lotto? I mean, the rumor is you have to play the lotto to win it, but
yeah.
And then it won't fucking matter. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. If the things we do as loving BDSM and the kinkery and stuff like that ever are enough to support a household, y'all be like, could you please take a break from the internet? You're talking to me. But yeah, I will go full Kayla Lords every moment of every day, including in the bedroom. I mean,
okay.
Yeah, because insert legal name here is a very frazzled, stressed mom of two who has to run a lot of errands. Kayla Lords in the bedroom, a lot more fun.
Yeah.
A lot more fun, for sure.
Yeah.
I also now feel like I'm talking about myself in the third person, like the royal we. Sorry, y'all.
You are.
So, okay.
All right.
We have rambled, and y'all have allowed it, and we love you for it. So, we're doing the Friday night live stream.
Yes.
We'll go until we just can't stand it anymore. And just a reminder, for those of you who sporadically come to the Friday nights or you haven't had a chance yet, in 2021, we're still going to do them, but we're going to make them monthly. I think we're actually going to call them a munch because it's kind of the vibe that I get from them. It's basically a gigantic bonus section, but there's always multiple conversations going on. It's not like we sit up here and spout off a topic for an hour and then open it up to it's just us chatting. There's a lot of conversations about food. A lot.
I mean, the thing when we do the podcast and the live stream on Wednesdays, because we are talking about a specific topic, we don't get to interact very much.
Yeah.
With the live stream chat, and what would be. What is nice about Fridays, we actually get to interact.
It's pure interaction.
It's pure interaction. We get to actually chat with the folks that are there.
There's a lot more pauses and silences because I'm reading the live stream chat.
Right. But that's what makes it enjoyable.
Yeah.
In and of itself.
But it's also the reason that we make them private later because we're not it's more context based. You'd have to follow along with the live stream chat, chat, and listen for any of it to make sense. So I usually just make those private, but if we turn the monthly ones next year into we take questions about BDSM specifically, then I might keep those live. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see.
I'm tired, y'all. I'm also procrastinating. I have a lot of work to go finish.
I got to start the
picking up kids
after
thing.
School train.
For folks on YouTube watching, the link to Hot Octopus is now working if you were interested in their sale. Podcast listeners, the link was it's there. I figured it would be fixed by the time the episode went live on Friday, but for anybody on YouTube, the link is there now. If you want to shop Octopus in their sale. Postcard information, if you would like to send us a postcard. For podcast listeners, it's always in the show notes. For YouTube watchers, it's in the description box. Regardless of how you're hearing us. It's also, I've been putting it in the weekly email newsletter. So if you subscribe to the newsletter, which is also in the description box / show notes, then you will get it that way too. Emoji of the week's Christmas tree. We hope everybody has a whatever kind of holiday you celebrate, if you celebrate at all, a good one. If you don't celebrate, enjoy a peaceful season. And then we'll see some of y'all on Friday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
I want to click the button.